Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you why Mace Tyrell is a genius. While Mace's demeanor may project arrogance and naivete, his actions speak volumes about his true abilities. As the head of House Tyrell, Mace orchestrated a series of calculated moves to secure the power and influence of his house amidst the chaos of the Seven Kingdoms. A huge part of the reason people would never believe Mace Tyrell is a genius is because of the way Game of Thrones portrayed him. They took the idea of him being an idiot and ran all the way to the bank with it. The show version of Mace could never be considered a genius, so instead we will focus on the book version of Mace Tyrell. Let's start with one of Mace's most controversial decisions, the Siege of Storm's End. This decision gets a lot of hate from fans, but Mace Tyrell's decision to lay siege to Storm's End instead of marching north to assist Rhaegar was a calculated move that ultimately worked in his favor. Had he chosen to support Rhaegar and the rebels still won, Mace would have sacrificed thousands of men and risked alienating powerful figures like Jon Arryn, Ned Stark, and Robert Baratheon, with little to gain in return. By staying at Storm's End, Mace ensured that he would come out unscathed, regardless of the battle's outcome. If Robert emerged victorious, Mace could simply bend the knee and play the fool, just like he did in the story, without losing a single man or exhausting the resources of the Reach. Should Rhaegar have won, Mace could have easily claimed loyalty to the prince and showcased his dedication to the cause, even if he appeared foolish. In the end, Mace's strategic decision to lay siege to Storm's End was a calculated move that ensured his safety and secured his position, no matter which side emerged victorious in the conflict. Moving on to my next point. Why is Mace Tyrell so eager for a royal marriage pact? If you believe it's because of his foolish ambition, you would be wrong. Mace Tyrell is not as ambitious as people make him out to be. Yes, he has ambition, but not nearly as much as the likes of Tywin Lannister or Balon Greyjoy. He's more practical than anything else. He's not ambitious to the point where it becomes foolish. The reason he wants a royal marriage pact is to protect his family. The Tyrells are in a very difficult position. Unlike most of the other wardens, like the Starks and Lannisters, the Tyrells don't have a monopoly over the regions they govern. This is due to the fact that they were mere stewards before the conquest, while other houses were already lords or even kings. And because of this, some of the houses in the Reach believe they have a better claim to Highgarden than the Tyrells, which makes the Tyrell bannermen unruly and not very trustworthy. Combine that with the fact that some of those bannermen are powerful enough to challenge House Tyrell, you start to see why Mace was so eager to marry into the royal family. House Tully was in a similar position as the Tyrells. They also had an untrustworthy, powerful bannerman called the Freys. When you have a bannerman like that, the end result is never good for the liege lord. Mace knows this and understands that his house might need the protection of the crown. The protection they are no longer guaranteed, now that the Targaryens are gone. That is why Mace Tyrell has pursued a strategy of trying to marry into as many of these rival families as possible to shore up his position and bind these families to House Tyrell. That's why it was so important to make Margaery queen. But the question still remains, if Mace is so smart, why would he marry Margaery to Renly, considering Renly has a weaker claim than Stannis? Well, the simple truth is, claims don't really matter anymore, at least not when it comes to the Iron Throne. The only people who really have a claim to the Iron Throne are the Targaryens. No one else. Not even Robert really had a claim. He took the Iron Throne because he won the war. Renly and his supporters didn't even consider the line of succession to be relevant. The strength of Renly's claim wasn't by blood, it was by conquest. And if you look past the idea of who has the better claim, it becomes obvious that Renly was the better choice for House Tyrell. He was more popular than Stannis. He was closer to the Tyrells because of his relationship with Loras, which means the Tyrells would have gotten more from Renly than anyone else. Combine that with the fact that Renly had the support of the majority of the Stormlands. That is why Stannis didn't have an army until Renly died. If you take all of that into account, you start to see why he was the best option for House Tyrell. The combined strength of the Tyrells and Renly made them virtually unbeatable, so there was really very little risk involved in their alliance. The next point I want to discuss is, how can I call Mace Tyrell a genius when there are characters in the story that see him as an idiot? But what you have to understand is that a lot of these characters' opinions can't be trusted. They either have something personal against Mace, or they have a biased opinion of him. The characters that are mentioned in the books that think Mace is a fool are Lady Olenna, the Lannisters, and Oberyn Martell. Now I don't trust anything Lady Olenna says, because she is constantly lying about everything, all the time. Almost every conversation she is in, she lies. Lady Olenna would also have a good reason to lie about her son. She could be purposely lying about Mace, calling him a fool, so that their enemies would underestimate him, and that would allow him to make moves without anyone taking him seriously. The Queen of Thorns insults almost everybody, but the amount she insults her own son is kind of suspect, almost as if she is trying to sell the idea of him being an idiot. Then there are the Lannisters. Their opinions can't be trusted either. Jaime and Cersei have a habit of speaking about others as if they are useless compared to themselves or their father. To them, being a Lannister means automatically thinking you are superior to everyone else. They consider almost everybody that's not them to be fools or idiots. And then there's Tyrion. His dislike for Mace might stem from Mace receiving credit for the Battle of Blackwater and never showing appreciation for Tyrion. And finally, there's Oberyn. He has personal problems with Mace stemming from the long-standing hate between Dorne and the Reach. Oberyn also blames Mace for allowing Willis to enter tourneys at a very young age. And in one of those tourneys, Oberyn crippled Willis. Was Mace being foolish for allowing Willis to enter these tourneys? Maybe, but considering he most likely did the same to his other sons. And they turned out to be some of the best knights in Westeros. If that's the case, then maybe it was not such a bad idea. And maybe what happened to Willis was just an accident and not an indication of lack of skill. Now, even if I have convinced people to believe what I have said about Mace Tyrell, there will still be fans that say that it was Lady Olenna that came up with all these ideas. Again, this is largely the fault of Game of Thrones, which sold the idea of Mace being an idiot and Lady Olenna being the mastermind. In the books, Lady Olenna is more in the background, while Mace is more in the front making the decisions. And Lady Olenna has repeatedly stated that getting involved in the war was a bad idea, and yet House Tyrell is very much involved, because she's not making the decisions. Mace Tyrell is. Or is that another one of her lies? What do you think? Let me know in the comments section. In conclusion, Mace Tyrell may not be the first character that comes to mind when you think of genius in Westeros, but when you take a closer look at his actions and motivations, it becomes clear that there is more to him than meets the eye. From his strategic decisions in times of conflict to his calculated alliances for the protection of his house, Mace Tyrell proves that he is a mastermind playing the Game of Thrones in his own way. It's important to look beyond the surface and recognize the complexities of a character like Mace Tyrell. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more analysis and theory from the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. See you next time.